Mic check. There we good. Was good. Welcome back to the Five to Life Dynasty Fantasy Football League. Shout out to the commish, Master E, aka Third and Teen. I didn't give you a video last week, so the winners of Week 12. Uh, Shout out to myself, El Come Tortas, the champ, Comeback Chris, A Team Has No Name, and Pete Top Kevin Bottom. Matchup of the week was myself versus Zeke Doubt. It was a sick ass battle. Like I said, week 12 was like the rivalry matchups, and it went down to the fucking wire, literally down. If you guys saw my post, literally down to the last catch of Allen Robinson that Trubisky threw to him. It was spectacular to say the least. But yeah, this is the Week 12 matchup. So shout out to all the winners as we get closer into the playoffs. Week 12 this week. I know there's still a game this week. Tonight actually, it's Tuesday. So but everything's pretty much set in stone right here, except for maybe like one game. But everything else is pretty much set in stone. So shout out to myself. Shout out to Mean Machine. Shout out to Double C Cups. Shout out to Comeback Chris. Shout out to A Team Has No Name. Myself and Comeback Chris probably getting that week 14 bye. So all we need to do is just prepare for 15 and 16. But going forward, what I really wanted to like talk about is, well, depending on the points right here, and I think Pete Top Kevin Bottom blocks, yeah. Depending on the points between 3rd and 10 and Mean Machine, even though, yeah, depending on those points, because they're both 6 and 7, they're gonna sneak into the 6th spot. So, but I think 3rd and 10 has way more points. Yeah, he needed to score like double these points to beat him. So, shout out to 3rd and 10. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be in the playoff standings. So let's just look at the squads going to the playoffs. And so 3rd and 10. Congratulations to everybody, making playoffs. Shout out to Double C Cubs. Like, yeah, the ending of your season was dope. You had the highest points this past weekend. So you're gonna be a threat. You're gonna be a threat next week. Next season. But so on to the playoff matchups. 3rd and 10 commish, he had switched up. He actually hit me up asking who should he pick up because Tom Brady was on the bye. He had a couple other players on bye. So he had picked up either Matthew Stafford or Mitchell Trubisky. And lo and behold, they were playing against each other. And at the beginning of that game, it was like very wet and, rainy and shit. So he went with Trubisky, got him 14 points. I'm not sure how many points fucking Stafford would have got him. I think maybe it was a little bit less. But nonetheless, so going forward, he is going to be going with Tom Brady probably to the end of the season. And like these matchups right here, 14, 15, 16, 17, all these matchups are like basically, how do you say it? They're good. How would you say? Great. Minnesota's defense they're a good defense, but their offense is what's keeping them in games lately, as of late. But teams are scoring on them. Atlanta's defense is horrible. Teams are scoring on them, and they have them back-to-back weeks. And Detroit defense is horrible. So Brady wants to get these wins. He wants to get. The Saints had clinched already. But, they don't necessarily want to be in the hunt. They want to get, as many wins as possible to end the season strong and get a slot in the playoffs, like in the real playoffs. So he's also going with Devontae Adams, obviously. And Devontae's, every week with Devontae, especially with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, dude is a fucking smash play no matter what. Obviously, last week was – They have a love affair, bro. It's proven to me. Shout out to the homie Jimmy. It's proven by Jim that Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers have a love affair. Look at this shit, bro. 12 targets, 10 receptions, 121 yards. It's just to wrap up a whole season of fantasy where it was pretty much the Devontae Adams Rodgers game right there. So going forward, Detroit, Carolina, Tennessee. All great matchups for receivers, especially Tennessee. You saw Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield. I don't want to say something. Stop hyping up these Browns. Yeah, they good, but stop hyping them up. Come on now. Detroit, Carolina, Tennessee, all wide receiver friendly matchups up until like Chicago. Uh, I don't know if our league go up to 17. I don't know why it's showing 17. I believe it's just 16. But let me check on the app real quick. Just go to matchups. Yeah. It's just week 16. So 17 shouldn't even be a problem. So if 3rd and 10 ends up, making a good slot, these matchups right here, Tennessee and Carolina, are fucking cake, and they're primetime games. So I would not want to see Devontae Adams those games. And the Packers, maybe the only hope for people like me who might play 3rd and 10 because I'm in 1st and he's in 6th. Maybe they sit Devontae because Green Bay already clinched, maybe, and they have the split win with the Saints. So maybe that's the only hope I have against Devontae. But it is what it is. Tyler Lockett. He has Tyler Lockett, and I think Tyler Lockett. He's a good play. He has turned into this wide receiver 2, maybe even 3 as of late. Obviously these big games. The 32 points, 45 points. They're not his story. Those games, you can get those games though. You can get those games, but if going into the playoffs, he has week 14, 15, 16. He has the New York Jets and the Washington football team, which is beautiful matchups for Tyler Lockett, enough to get him points, probably like more than 9, 10. It just depends on how the Seattle Seahawks are playing. They've been very run heavy as of late, as Chris Carson's came back. So it all depends on that. But these matchups right here, the Jets, the Washington football team, it's not scary at all. He can play that. He could play Lockett with very minimal fear of him putting like a 3 or a 9 or a 6. You know what I'm saying? He could shoot for like a 12, 13, 16, like that. Those type of numbers. Those are numbers like you want to see from Tyler Lockett, if Metcalf isn't stealing his thunder. So and then on championship week, he has the Rams. The Rams, it could be a toss-up. He could be a wide receiver 3 that game, which I don't think so, because you seen last time what happened, the matchup between the Seattle Seahawks and the Rams. Jalen Ramsey was all over DK, so that gave a lot of leniency to like Tyler Lockett, but still, even that week he put up 9.10 points with 9 targets. So he's around that point, 8 target points. So if he can make it to the championship game, I think he's not worried about that week. He's worried about these 2 weeks, and week 14 and 15 look beautiful for 3rd-and-10 commish. And I do not want to play him championship week. I do not want to play him. Wide receiver Deontay Johnson. Obviously, when he's on the field, he's a beast. But if he's off the field, he's not doing shit. He leaves the field and he puts up 1 point. He stays on the field. He puts up 17, 20 points like that. So this is one of those players who, no matter what matchup is happening, same thing with Devontae Adams, is you're gonna play him. So the matchup right here with Buffalo could be a skeptical one, especially because it's on prime time. But Buffalo's defense hasn't been the same defense as they've been since last year. They're pretty good. They're pretty good, but they're not shutting down receivers. If they're not shutting down receivers. I forgot what I was going to say. But week 15 should be a good matchup. Monday night, fucking primetime matchup for Deontay against Cincinnati. And that should be a game where, it's going to be a high scoring affair. Obviously, Pittsburgh wants to win out. They don't want Kansas City to catch up because they just lost to the Washington football team. And I think Big Ben is still trying to get as great as this offense and this team has been. I feel like it's mainly a defensive team. We can all see it. It's a defensive squad, but the offense I still think is as good as it is too. They're still finding ways to click. So that Monday night game, I think they get it together, and it's either going to be Deontay or Claypool or all of them at the same time. That one's going to be an interesting matchup. Could be an Achilles heel, but I wouldn't doubt it against Cincinnati's defense because they suck. But then championship week for Deontay, Indianapolis. Obviously, Indianapolis is going to be they're top two defenses. Like these are the two top defenses going up against each other. Could be a running affair, could be a big play affair. So like if he gets, Deontay, if he gets like one of those slanting goals that they like to do with him, like inside the red zone, then yeah, he should have a good game. But that one's going to be that might be a little skeptical right there because Indianapolis is real, and we know that for a fact. Raheem Mostert, the numbers don't match his story right now. Obviously he's a beast. Obviously last night put up 4.8 points. Did he get hurt? I'm not sure because I knocked the fuck out early last night. I don't think he got hurt. I think the defense just kind of held him. But those 9 attempts are not good. Maybe they're just saving him because the next 3 weeks it's Washington, Dallas, and Arizona. Fucking beautiful. Those are, if he can make it past Washington, because Washington's run defense, the defensive line is dope. It's pretty good, and you obviously seen it yesterday with against the Steelers. So if he can make it past week 14 with the dub, and he gets Raheem Mostert versus Dallas and Arizona, and against Arizona is a divisional game. San Francisco want to get in the playoffs. I believe they still have a chance to be in that hunt. I think they got knocked out of the hunt last night, but they still got that. And so Arizona's defense is not the best defense, and they give up a lot of points to running backs as well as tight ends and receivers. So if he can hold off on that week 14 Washington, I think Mostert's going to be a league winner. That's a league winner right there. Dallas and Arizona, that is a league winner type numbers. Matchups. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, I know he's been sticking with Jonathan Taylor, and obviously it seems like these guys are, it was a running back by committee, like to see who it was, and you got people getting hurt, people getting COVID, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Seems like it's turning to fruition that Jonathan Taylor is actually going to be the dude in the backfield right now. So next 3 weeks, Las Vegas, Houston, Pittsburgh. If he can make it between 14 and 15, week 14 and 15, which are pretty good matchups, I think he should be fine going into week 16, going up against Pittsburgh. Like I said, it's going to be I think that game is going to be a running affair, a big play affair. You know what I'm saying? So I think he should be all right if he makes it past Las Vegas and Houston, who are cake matchups for running backs. It just depends on how the Colts do it. You can't really depend on it. But the last 2 weeks, I say 2 because in the last 3 week 12, Jonathan Taylor he was on the COVID, so it's shown that he's getting these attempts. They want to make him the featured back. So shout out to Jonathan Taylor. Shout out to Commish for drafting him. Zach Ertz, I know he's going with Zach Ertz because he's hurting that tight end. Maybe if he could hold on to week 16, supposedly there's rumors that George Kittle is going to come week week 16. That by the end of the season. That's the rumor. I don't think he will, and I kind of hope he won't because I ain't trying to go up against that. I ain't trying to go up against Devontae, Lockett, Johnson, Mostert, and Kittle all at the same time. But the rumors are that that's what he's shooting for. So it could be a league winner. Zach Ertz, I know a lot of people losing faith in him. I never really had faith in him, even last season when he was putting up good numbers. But with everything going on in Philadelphia, you can't guess. You got I had Travis Fulgham, and I was holding on. Even with Jalen Hurts possibly becoming the starter, I doubt that he can be. I doubt that it can generate some fantasy numbers like that. Maybe Zach Ertz gets, and plus he's going up. He's splitting the targets and time with Dallas Goedert. So it's not. I don't like Zach Ertz going forward. The matchups are good. Maybe week 14 is not a good matchup against the Saints, but I know the Saints, like, they give up points to the tight end, like big points to tight end. That's how you shred that defense, because their running defense, their pass defense they're playing fucking lights out right now. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Saints fan, even though I am. But Arizona and Dallas, not scary defense. If he could hold on, maybe pivot to another tight end. But if he really wants to go with Ertz, he could look at that week 16 Dallas matchup and say, look, this is the divisional game for Philadelphia and Dallas. And, it's anyone's race pretty much in the NFC East. So Not a good play for I don't think Zach Ertz is a good play, but it is what it is. He might have to pivot to Rudolph. I think he might have to pivot to Rudolph because Rudolph is. I mean, the only thing. Yeah, Zach Ertz is Zach Ertz. Kyle Rudolph is Kyle Rudolph. You know who's obviously the better athlete. You know the better like player who has done it before. I just look at the quarterback play, the Kirk Cousins versus Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. I like Cousins better. Cousins is playing. He's playing great football right now. The Vikings are playing great football. They're getting in the red zone. They're clicking with Thielen and Jefferson and Cooks being Cook, and they're making these trick plays in the goal line. Like it's honestly looking like fantasy gold on that team. I would pivot to Kyle Rudolph. Yeah, the matchups are not that good. Tampa Bay, Chicago, New Orleans. But like I said, New Orleans gives up points to the defense, to the tight end position. So maybe he might want to think about that. Uh, you know, I'm not being biased here. I'm just calling it like it is right now. Maybe I'll be biased in like our chat or some shit, but that is what it is. He has also good pivot options like Malvin Gordon, Todd Gurley. Even though Todd Gurley was out, Gordon's been solid. Gurley's been solid. Kittle couldn't come back. So Mike Davis, depending on Mike Davis, depending on Mike Davis. Mike Davis, depending on Christian McCaffrey, that should, let you know how Mike Davis will be. Christian Kirk obviously is not what it turned out to be, what we all hoped. I kind of hoped Christian Kirk would do solid too, especially when Larry Fitzgerald wasn't there. But these numbers are not there, and it has to do with Kyler Murray's shoulder. Obviously, it's hurting him, but shouldn't be a problem. You got New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco, all good games, good solid games you could play, Kirk. So solid pivots. The defensive side, I like the pickup of Tampa Bay. I had dropped him earlier, but he's going to go San Francisco. He's going San Francisco all up until week 16. Week 16, Seattle. Yeah, I think he's going to have to just go. Who does Tampa Bay play week 16? I think he might pivot to Detroit, to week 16 Tampa Bay. But knowing him, he's a San Francisco 49er fan. I think he's going to stay San Francisco up until 16. Don't quote me on that, but that's just that would be my guess. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Kamish, he has a chance. All the matchups point to him having a chance to make it all the way up to the chip to week 16 where he could take it, and he could possibly win it because the matchups that are coming up next in the next 4 weeks, they're great matchups, and I do not want to face 3rd and 10. I was trying to hype up Mean Machine. Oh, fucking make playoffs because yeah. Well, y'all know why, but. So going into the next squad, the defending champ. Champ has I think the 8th most points. The 8th, I believe. Don't quote me, but he still made it in that 5th slot. Call it what you want. Call it luck. Call it Andrew Luck. Call it Cam Newton. Call it whatever you want. The man is playing the matchups. Yeah, he just lost it to Double C Cup, which is managed by Sour DJ. But I think, going forward, it's going to be a little rough, especially if Christian McCaffrey is still banged up. I think they might split the time with Mike Davis. So his quarterback going forward, assuming that the Saints don't activate Drew Brees, and even if they do activate Drew Brees, they've seen a lot from Taysom Hill. Obviously, the past few weeks, they've seen a lot of him enough to say they could split the time. So that could possibly be a factor too. Drew Brees might still be out, but even if he is in, he could still, they have packages for Taysom Hill. And now that they see that Taysom is comfortable with the offense, ooh, that's a scary sight. And fantasy-wise, it doesn't put Drew Brees in a great position. So I believe he is going with Cam Newton the rest of the way. If he has another pivot, I don't think he has a better pivot. He does not. So, yeah, Cam Newton, he's going the rest of the way. Look, I mean, Cam Newton is Cam Newton. Yeah, he's going to put up these type of numbers pretty much against the Rams defense, I don't like that week 14, and that's a must win. This is a must win for Champ. There's way better matchups with other quarterbacks, but I don't know if he wants to pivot anybody. I don't know if he wants to drop anybody. This is pre waivers, week 14 waivers. This is it's early in the game, early in the playoff game right now, but if he can make it past week 14 and head to week 15 where Miami's defense is good, but he still got Cam Newton. Like it's kind of fucking weird on how he can get these numbers. Look at these 19 attempts and he still got 22 points. It's because he's rushing too and he scores touchdowns in the red zone. And but the bad thing is, he doesn't look comfortable. That team doesn't have an identity pretty much. I know I said like earlier in the season, I thought that the Patriots would find their identity with Cam Newton, but it doesn't look like they have. Don't let this 45-0 fool you. The defense is solid still. It keeps them in the game. It keeps Cam Newton fantasy relevant. So if he can hold on to week 15 and then he might have to pivot on week 16 against Buffalo, I think he should be all right, but it's not solid. It's not a solid play to play Cam Newton through these playoffs. And I know he's hurting on a lot of sides right now. Like Josh Jacobs was out, should be all right, but obviously his number one receiver is going to be Mike Evans. And like I said, with Tom Brady has been finding Mike Evans in the end zone in the last 5 weeks. My bad. That Saints game, he could just throw it out. So it's safe to say that Mike Evans should be great in these next 3 coming weeks. Like I said, Minnesota's defense is not scary. Atlanta's defense is not scary. Detroit's defense is not scary. So that could be one bright spot for Champ so far. I would love to play Mike Evans during. I would like to play him, not play against him. I think he's gonna go CD. CD with that big playability, it's hard not to play him. Obviously, to play tonight against Baltimore, which is a better defense. But then you got Cincinnati, Seattle, and Philadelphia. The thing about Philadelphia is their offense sucks. It's weird. It's so weird, but the defense is pretty good. Like they have a pretty solid defense. I know that Slay is probably going to be going up against Cooper, and then they're just going to be rushing that offense because Zeke is Zeke still. So CeeDee Lamb should see targets, like a lot of targets in these 2 coming games with San Francisco and Philadelphia. And then Cincinnati's not a scary defense, but I think his targets will go down because I think they'll go to Cooper, Gallup, and then you got Zeke's running ability, and they're playing with Tony Pollard now. So that could be a detrimental to CeeDee Lamb going forward. But if he can hold on to week 16, CD should be nice. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I don't know if he's going to go MVS. I don't know if he's going to go Renfro. These players are weekly players. Like not every week player that you play them by the matchup. So if the matchup's good, obviously you could put them in. I'm not going to look into these right now. This is not what I'm going to do. But with a player I do want to talk about is Wayne Gallman. Now this gives Champ something to think about here. He pivoted to Devontae Booker because Josh Jacobs is out and he's a little banged up. Christian McCaffrey, he was banged up again, and if he comes back, he's still going to get that split time. The question I have for Champ, my bad. The question I have for the Champ is, are you going to play Wayne Gallman over Christian McCaffrey? Now, I know motherfuckers like, what the fuck, you crazy? Hear me out. Since he started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touchdowns in 6 weeks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Not the bye. Solid fucking points. 13, 12, 14, 18, 16, 13. Look at these attempts. I mean, the only other safe player like this, running back like this, besides top drafted running backs, besides them, is James Robinson from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Wayne Gallman has been fucking great. And week 14 and 15, These defenses are not scary. New York Giants, they feel a sudden burst of energy right now. Even with Daniel Jones out, they want to win this division. They want to make it to playoffs, and they very well, damn well could. Uh, I I I would start Wayne Gallman over Christian McCaffrey, and I know y'all be like, no, you fucking wouldn't. Look, man, these numbers don't lie. Women lie, men lie, numbers don't lie. Look at these fucking. If you're talking about safe numbers like this, yeah, Christian McCaffrey can get you 25, 30 on a great day, on a good day. Uh, but he also can get you 2 points and leave the game early. He could also get you like 10 points and still split the time with Mike Davis week 14 and 15. Maybe pivot him, see how he's doing on week 16. I'm not talking about week 16. I'm talking about week 14 and 15. I know 15 says right here, because maybe what's his name? I forget his name. I forget his name. Anyways, the other running back that the Giants had actually paid more to get, who was out, is coming back. I forget his name. I still like Wayne Gallman week 14 and 15. This dude, and he runs if you see him play, he runs fucking good. He runs like he wants to be on that field, and he earns every fucking yard. So if I'm champ, I got nothing to lose right here. My matchups aren't the great matchups. I got an okay spot. I got 5th seed. My numbers haven't been producing like I thought they would. If I'm champ, I'm playing Wayne Gallman every chance I get. Every chance I get. So moving on forward to Chris Carson. Obviously, you're playing Chris Carson no matter what. If he's healthy, look at this beautiful fucking next 3 weeks. The New York Jets, Washington football team, the Los Angeles Rams. If he's healthy, you're playing him, because with the Rams game, the Rams have a great run defense. Yes, I know this. But Chris Carson has been playing great football. He's been playing and especially when he came back against Philadelphia, he only had 8 attempts, but still fucking came out with solid points, 12 points. And last week he had 18 points. He's going up against the Jets, who are fucking whack, going up against the Washington football team, who have a good run defense, but I think they're going to have to worry about the pass, the screen, and these are must-win games. So I think Chris Carson has fucking a big role in this offense. And going up against the Rams, divisional matchup, must wins to make playoffs. I like that right there. I know he has Evan Ingram. Let's see. On a good day, Evan Ingram can get you some solid points. But how many times has he done that this season? He's only done it twice, and that's with Daniel Jones as quarterback. I believe. I don't know if it was Cincinnati last week. I'm not sure, but against Arizona, Cleveland, Baltimore, it's all right. It's all right to play, but I do like that he picked up Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas, look at these points last week. And he's still, he's being targeted more now, like 9 targets, 4 or 5 targets, 6 targets. He's being targeted, and this fool, honestly, was making catches and making plays yesterday where it's like, holy shit, put this motherfucker on the map. Week 14 going up against San Francisco. Yeah, Frisco is a tough D. They have a tough run D and a tough pass D. But I believe like that they're going to be focusing on Terry McLaurin and Sims. Logan Thomas up against that Pittsburgh defense was finding holes, and Alex Smith was looking for him. They're calling plays for him, like in the red zone. They're calling plays for him on like 3rd and 11, 3rd and 10. If you can stand it, I would like to play Logan Thomas over Evan Ingram, not as much as I like to play Wayne Gallman over Christian McCaffrey. I just want to put that on record, but that's still he's just looking good. He's looking really good. And tight ends are scarce, man. Tight ends are, you either have Kelsey or Hawkinson, or you don't. I know he has Mo Ali Cox. You could probably drop him. Like I said, the Drew Brees factor. Sterling Shepard. Maybe I would play Sterling Shepard, but it's too much. My rule. It's too many cookies in the jar. Too many fingers in the cookie jar. So I wouldn't play Sterling Shepard right now. It doesn't look too great. Also, he has Josh Jacobs, who's banged up. So these are decisions that Champ is going to have to make that can make or break that week. So he's going to have to go week by week. He can't just think about the next week. He has to think about the week that's coming up. And it's coming fast. The playoffs start tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday. I believe there's a game Wednesday. I believe. This whole shit is fucked up. But it's gonna be a bumpy road for Champ, and he has high points in his teams. And if he could do what he's been doing all season, where he takes his L's where he has it, but he wins where he can. I think he can make it past the first round. I think he could, if he surprised everyone last year and he won it all. So I'm never counting out champ. It's tough, but I think he should be all right. All right. So now going forward to a team has no name, managed by Ray Ray. I said earlier in the season that a team has no name could run the table. All these players that he has are pretty much all ones that at one point in time, don't let the red numbers, the red letters fool you. He's had players who have came up good. Uh, there's a couple I want to talk about too, but let's go up to the top. Obviously, you're starting Kyler Murray, 18 points his last game. Yeah, and this is a bad game. Yeah, the New England game, whatever, he got hurt, blah, blah, whatever. He was hurt the game before. This is a bad game, 18 points, still fucking solid. Assuming this dude, he's the number one ranked fantasy player this season. You're not playing Kyler Murray unless you have the fucking mother of all matchups and you know what it is. You're not playing Kyler Murray. Look at these fucking great matchups. Giants, Philadelphia, assuming he comes back healthy against San Francisco. League fucking winner. He could have been he's the Lamar Jackson of this season. That's a league winner, and I do not want to face a team has no name in any time of the playoffs. I don't want to face them in any time of the playoffs because look at Justin Jefferson putting up fucking points. Excuse me, I coughed. I know you had Tampa Bay, Chicago, New Orleans, tough defenses, but it's just hard. You're not going to sit Justin Jefferson now. You're not going to sit him because he's got you there and you're going to play with him. Big playability, huge playability. The dude is a fucking, he looks like a veteran in the game and he's just a rookie. Like this dude, he has so much talent. I wanted him in the draft. But he got him. He went early, and which rightfully so. Obviously now it shows he went early, and which is rightfully so. Next, so Tampa Bay defense, it's going to be tough. Chicago defense going to be tough. New Orleans defense going to be tough. But he still, you got to expect those points. I think those points you got to get you got lower expectations. Obviously, you're not going to get 20. Maybe you might though. So maybe like 15, 14 points. He's only been around that mark like once or twice. It's either three times, and everything else is like either duds or fucking great games. So the Vikings, like I said, are playing hot, and I think and fantasy points are being generated on that team right now. That as managers, fantasy managers, that's what you want to do. You want to fucking catch these teams that are getting hot numbers wise, and it looks like they're gonna make the playoffs. And I think they're gonna. I don't like the Vikings, but I think they're gonna make some noise. So of course you got Stephon Diggs, who's the one right there, and in Buffalo. Josh Allen has been playing fucking great football, way better than anyone predicted. I predicted it though. I just want that to put that on record. But he's been finding Stephon Diggs a lot. You know what I'm saying? Look at these targets all fucking season, bro. 9, 13, 16, 11, 12, 10, 11, 9. And then the next matchups, yeah, Pittsburgh, Denver, New England. That Pittsburgh one is going to be a little shaky, but, that offense is playing good enough. And if they get John Brown back, it's going to open up all kinds of things. And it's going to be that big playability game, like I said before, where Pittsburgh is a defensive squad and you have to score on them. Like, I know it's cliche to say you got to score points to win. You have to score on them. And their best chance for Buffalo to win that game is Stephon Diggs connection. And I think he gets it done. It's a tough schedule, though. I mean, Pittsburgh, Denver's pretty good. Like, Denver's a good defense. Like, don't let these records fool you. Fantasy points is a whole different world. It's a whole different world from the real life football. And then, of course, you got New England. That New England game, Week 16, Monday night, going up against Stephon Gilmore and Stephon Diggs, could very well make or break his chances to win the championship or lose the championship because he's starting Stephon Diggs. That will be I don't know. I see a team has no name going into the championship, and this is going to be the make or break game. I don't want to face him. I don't want Josh Allen to be throwing it to Stephon Diggs and letting him get points if I'm there. I know everything's not for sure, but Stephon Diggs is obviously going to be a must start. Jarvis, he might have to pivot a little bit, whatever. It's going to be a few weeks. Hit them waivers, see what happens. Derrick Henry is going to be the league winner. This is why I said I like a team has no name, because the next 3 weeks for Derrick Henry, Jacksonville, Detroit, Green Bay, all just lovely, lovely, lovely matchups up against the running back. The only bright side for anyone else playing against Derrick Henry and the team has no name is you see that what Cleveland did to kind of stop Derrick Henry. If you can bring that formula and make them a passing team, which Jacksonville probably won't, which Detroit probably won't, I think those are the little things you can cling on to. He's still gonna have a beast game. This is fucking Derrick Henry, and in the wintertime, are you kidding me, bro? The Week 16 matchup against Green Bay, yes, he's gonna have solid points, but Green Bay is also gonna have great points. They run up the score. So if they could turn into a passing team rather than a running team that week, that's the bright side you could have, and it's also a primetime matchup on Sunday. So you got the team has no name has 2 players in primetime matchups on the championship week 16. I do not want to face that. I do not want to face that at all. Kenyon Drake, that can make or break him right here. Let's say all his opponents' players are all, they're hitting, they're scoring, and he's scoring too. Kenyon Drake can make or break that season. Yes, the matchups are good. New York, Philadelphia, San Francisco. And he's been showing out 10, 14, 22, 12. Those are solid running back 2 numbers. If he could pivot another to like Cam Akers, maybe, that would, or Darrell Henderson, if he could figure it out. If a team has no name, could figure it out, can figure out the code, the Sean McVay code on who is going to be the better running back that day, I think these win him the league, either Darrell Henderson or Cam Akers. Yeah, it is what it is. They both put up points. You got New England, and that run defense is pretty good. But then you got the Jets and then Seattle. If he can figure that shit out, if he could crack the Sean McVay Da Vinci code, he's going to win. He's going to win. That's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about that. Fuck. Like, it scares me. The only thing that could possibly hurt him is starting Kenyon and he throws up a dud. Jarvis Landry throws up a dud, or Hayden Hurst throws up a dud, because he doesn't really have a pivot tight end. So he's gonna go with Hayden Hurst. He has a lot of players playing on the same squads. Naeem Hines, I think he pivots back and forth, whatever, between Harris or Galladay, Laviska Shenault. So, but the point I'm trying to make is he's the favorite to win these next 3 weeks. All the matchups are so great. The players are scoring. He's putting up points. He's the fantasy team that's getting hot right now. A team has no name. Ray. Good luck to you, bro. Hopefully I see you week 16. Hopefully I don't. So who is next? Zeke Out, who is probably going to end up in 3rd place. I know he wanted that bye week. I know he really wanted it, but he did not put up a good showing this week. Justin Herbert for the rest of the season. I think he's going to go Justin Herbert for the rest of the season because, whatever, throw this passing game out. You're going to throw it out. Yeah, he doesn't really have another option, but he has good players. Let's see their matchups. Atlanta, Las Vegas, Denver. Yeah, Herbert's been great all season except for last week. Like, let it go. You're going to do all right. Herbert's going to win the Rookie of the Year, I believe. I believe he will win Rookie of the Year. We or myself has called Zeke Out the waiver hawk because he has the most waiver pickups where players are doing great for him. So next 3 weeks for Justin Herbert should be all right. Tyreek Hill, no matter the matchup, you're starting that motherfucker. Jacoby Myers, I like that pickup, and I know he liked that he kind of, he dug into it and he took a gamble. I respect that. I can respect that. But now, what are you going to do? Who are you going to pivot to? Are you going to pivot to Mike Williams? Are you going to pivot to T. Higgins? Are you going to pivot to Darius Slayton? You also got Godwin that's coming back on bye. So, and then that Godwin matchup, it should be all right. But the other thing I'm worried about too is Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown has not been Hollywood. He's just been Marquise Brown. And then the next matchups, Cleveland, Jacksonville, New York Giants. Those matchups are good, but don't let it fool you. I think the running game is going to be what the Ravens are focusing on. They're a running team. They haven't been connecting, even on great matchups. Lamar Jackson and Marquise Brown have not been connecting. Uh, so I'm curious to see how he's going to pivot. I'm curious to see who he's going to pick up. I'm curious to see, how he's going to make his way through these next playoffs. After all, this is my rival, but I do wish him nothing but the best. That's he has good fantasy tendencies. At running backs, of course he's gonna start Zeke. You got to start Zeke. Will he pivot though? Because he has Baltimore coming up tonight. Let's see how he does. But then he has Cincinnati, San Francisco, and Philadelphia. Cincinnati's run defense, of course, is not good. But then you got San Francisco and Philadelphia, and you know that they're gonna try to make Zeke the focal point of that offense because they still want to win that division as well. San Francisco's run D is great. Philadelphia's run D is great. Is good enough to handle. Who should he pivot to? I know he picked up Salvin Ahmed, who's been out, and that hurt him because he wasted a number 1 waiver pick. Joe Mixon, I don't know if Joe Mixon is coming back, but if he comes back, he could pivot to Joe Mixon, maybe put him at the flex, maybe try to work it to his advantage. But it's going to be a tough sledding. James Robinson, you're starting him every week. These are, like I said, like how Wayne Gallman is. No matter the matchup, this motherfucker is putting up points. And like even if he doesn't put the touchdowns, he's still giving you 12, 13 points, 10 points. Like these are points you want to see. Yes, week 14, 15, 16, they have tough run defenses. But he's got you there, and he's been showing that he could play. He's playing fucking great football. One of the better running backs in the league, if I might say so myself. Obviously, he was a waiver hawk, and that was a good pickup. Hunter Henry, I would like to see him pivot. He's probably going to end up pivoting to Rob Gronkowski because if he ends up playing 3rd and 10 commish, he can get some of those Tom Brady points that Tom Brady is going to get. So I would like to see that pivot. He likes Hunter Henry a lot, though. I don't think he will go with him the next 3 weeks because, yeah, he's been good the past 3 weeks, but this last week was a dud. But also, it's just the way the team is gonna play now. Like it seems like the Chargers offense have found their identity with Eckler back, with Keenan Allen being the main receiver, Mike Williams getting those deep bombs. It's Hunter Henry is still a good play, but I don't think it's as good as a play as Rob Gronkowski, who has been showing that he can handle it. Like since week 6, he's been 16, 14, 12. Yeah, the dud against New Orleans, but 12, 13. You could throw out the 3 against the Rams because they have Minnesota, Atlanta, and Detroit. I would pivot. I would definitely pivot like right now before I could do it. Baltimore defense, yeah, he has Baltimore defense, but who hasn't been like as great, but it's still a great top 5 defense. So, yeah, Zeked out, rival. He's been there. He was there in the championship last season. He beat me to get there. I know he wants to get there back again. I know he wants to win it. Tough sledding this week, though. I know he wanted that bye, so he could just chill. But it is what it is. Now you prepare for week 14. And you see what happens. You go forward. So good matchups, but if he could pivot to make things good matchups, and he has some kind of sketchy matchups, but if he could pivot to make it work his way, I think he should be all right. I think it should be all right, depending on who he plays now. Depending on who he plays, I believe he's going to play a team has no name, or the defending champ. I'm not too sure, but let's these playoffs are going to be crazy. These playoffs are going to be crazy. Next team, the number 2 team, made it in 2nd place. Congrats on your bye week. Comeback Chris, managed by Chris. Going forward now with Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, you're going to start him no matter what the matchup is. I think this is his only quarterback. No, he has Ryan Tannehill, who I think he should pivot to. I think he should pivot to him maybe like week 15, but because Chicago and Indiana. The thing about Deshaun Watson, though, he's one of those players, he could just scramble and make shit happen. He can go from having 8 points all game to all of a sudden in the 4th quarter, he gets you fucking 25 or 24, which he has been doing. A lot of losses this season. Tough season. You know, of course, DeAndre Hopkins got traded off season, and then now Will Fuller is out, but he's still getting it done. Fantasy wise, they're still getting it done, and he can't. But Chicago's should be a good game. Indianapolis should be a rough game, but if he can make it all the way to Week 16, where he plays Cincinnati, that should be a league winner, a game winner right there, championship winner. Chase Claypooltron, you know, he's been solid, but he's still the rookie. So you're not, you know, you don't want to put that stress like how Justin Jefferson can handle. But these matchups are cool. Buffalo's cool. Cincinnati's cool. Indianapolis, the championship week is going to be tough. Like I said, it's going to be that big playability, that, you know, the long bombs or whatever. I think, but he has to. I think he has to play him because you don't really have too many pivots. You know, like AJ Green, Cole Beasley is a good matchup. You know, that if he wants to play, but he also has John Brown coming back. So if he could figure that shit out, maybe he pivots the right week at the right time with the right player, and he gets him a dub. You know, he don't got to worry about Week 14 now. All he has to do is worry about Week 15, and you know that's a luxury you get when your team, you know, when you become second place and your team scores points, and he has the second most points. So shouts to him. Deebo Samuels is another one that you want to like kind of look out for. He should have a big game Week 14 and Week 15, but against Arizona, I think Deebo is going to be the pivotal point for Patrick Peterson to shadow all game. So maybe I know he has Brandon Ayuk. I know he has like Noah Fant. I know he has Mark Ingram, Cole Beasley, John Brown. You don't want to play too many players in that same game because that just takes away percentage points. Should be good up until that championship week. But Deebo's Deebo, and he's a beast amongst men, just kind of like how Metcalf is. Those type of players, they can win you a league, but it's going to be a tough championship week. But leading up to it, he should be fine. Marvin Jones Jr. had a big game. I think you could just throw it out. Excuse me, hold up. I think you could just throw it out because Galladay's probably going to come back, which is going to fucking make another weapon for a team that has no name. But Green Bay is going to be, you know, a tough passing defense. They're a tough passing defensive team. They're horrible running defense. So it's going to be DeAndre Swift type of game. And then if anybody's getting the ball, it's Hawkinson and Galladay. So Marvin Jones Jr., yeah, he's good. If anybody goes down, he's a solid play. Now, obviously, you can see 17, 11, 19, 21. Tennessee and Tampa Bay, tough matchups for receivers. He might want to pivot. Like I said, you know, he has Ayuk, he has Noah Fant, AJ Green, Mark Ingram, Cole Beasley, John Brown. These are players you could all play in the flex as well. The big question for him right now is Alvin Kamara. What is going on? He's very now. Look, Kamara is a great running back. Let's do that. Let's just say that and get that shit out the way. I love AK-41. He is very touchdown dependent right now because Taysom Hill, the way Taysom Hill is running that offense, it's not running through him. And especially now that Taysom is getting comfortable stretching the ball out, it could be tough sledding. But if Drew Brees comes back, that's his number one option besides Mike Thomas, you know, on the swings, the screens, and you know, they're using a lot more Latavius Murray on the run. That offense has so many weapons that it's honestly kind of bad for fantasy right now, unless you have like Taysom Hill or Michael Thomas. Everyone else is just kind of getting their own slice of the pie. And as luck would have it, Alvin Kamara is getting just his own slice of the pie. Not a big slice, but last week, you know, he got in the end zone, which saved him. But Philadelphia, Kansas City, Minnesota, all good matchups for Alvin Kamara, and of course he's a pivotal position in that offense, and you're gonna start him. I think you just lower expectations, especially against Week 14. Well, he's not playing Week 14, so Kansas City and Minnesota should be good for Alvin Kamara, especially if Drew Brees comes back. That should help him out a lot. J.K. Dobbins looks like he's going to be the guy going forward with Mark Ingram. Maybe he wants to pivot. I think he has Leonard Fournette. And I forgot he has Robbie. Robbie could win him the league. Robbie definitely could win him the league. But J.K. Dobbins has great matchups going forward all the way up until the end. We'll see how he does tonight. See how they use him tonight. and that will tell the future. But Dobbins could very well win you. Dallas Goedert, I like Dallas Goedert way better than Zach Ertz. He's just getting it done, and it just feels more comfortable now. But with, like I said, with that, excuse me, with that quarterback play, I would pivot to Noah Fant, even though Noah Fant's quarterback play is horrible too. But like I said, the tight ends, they're scarce right now. You either have Kelsey or you don't. So he could pivot. These are the things that I don't like to see. Like you have Cole Beasley, John Brown, Debo Samuels, Brandon Ayuk, uh, Noah Fant, AJ Green, Mark Ingram, J.K. Dobbins. These players are on the same team, and it's going to make it hard for him to pivot. So it's going to be cool to see how him and myself, because we have the bye, on how we play the waivers next week coming up into week 15, because the waivers can win you games. And I know he has Los Angeles Chargers defense and Arizona's defense, who aren't too great. Young Hoku is great fucking kicker. Can't believe I let him go, but I had to. So it's going to be crazy to see how it happens and how it all pans out. So definitely a favorite. Probably I'll put him, definitely a favorite, obviously because of the points and how he's done. So we're going to see how it hands him. Last team right now is myself, obviously in first place. Clinch the bye, and I'm going to win this week. I have pivots all around. I can, and I'm only saying this now too, because this is only myself. This is my team. I could talk about it. I got Josh Allen. I picked up Jared Goff because I liked his matchups going into the playoffs, the Jets and the Seattle Seahawks. I got Lamar Jackson coming back off the COVID, who I like very much. They got Jacksonville and the Giants. This could be a curse for me though. This could be a curse for me if I have too many players who are playing, like in good matchups. There's some points that might be left lingered, and you don't want to leave points lingered in playoffs. Trust me, boy. Trust me, you don't want to do that. Allen Robinson has been a stud all season, all last season. His matchups, Minnesota and Jacksonville, for me, are going to be very, very, very pivotal for me. I know I think Chicago still wants to make it in those playoffs in the hunt. It doesn't look like they will. No, it doesn't look like they will. But they want to win. They want to come out strong. And I think Allen Robinson should have big games. Those two, week 15 and 16, those pass defense are not scary at all. Keenan Allen is another one who I'm going forward with. I think you just must start him. Throw last week's game out. He has Las Vegas and then Denver. Those two games that I need those games. I needed those matchups, and they're coming to fruition. Terry McLaurin was going up against Pittsburgh's defense, who was fucking sick. They were sick. But week 15 and week 16, Seattle against Carolina, they love receivers down there. They let receivers score on them, get yards after catch after that for them. It's a lovely situation over there for receivers. Terry McLaurin is a fucking beast. He's obviously the number one in Washington. So I think I should be all right receiver wise. And I got good pivots. Nelson Aguilar has been playing all right. I got Jalen Reagor just in case. And then at the flex, I could use like TJ Hawkinson, or I picked up Isaiah Coulter because he's a rookie, big, tall rookie who's fast. And Houston needs receivers. So, and that's just in case I play against, like Deshaun Watson, these players, just in case I play against these teams, I have pivots for them. So the running back, here's the running back situation for me. Dalvin Cook has been Dalvin Cook. Been great all season. Last season, he was great. He got injured in the first quarter, and that's how I lost my playoff game by 3 points. These matchups, Tampa Bay, Chicago, and New Orleans, especially week 15 and 16, all 3 weeks have great defense, running defense. Am I worried? A little bit. My expectations are not going to be what they are. So that could be my Achilles heel right there. I've been riding Dalvin a lot. Pretty much, if you have Dalvin Cook, you've been riding Dalvin Cook. It's going to be a bumpy next 3 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you that right now. Antonio Gibson got banged up last night. I think it should be all right. Hopefully it doesn't bleed into week 15. But if it does, I should be all right. I think I have somebody else I want to pick up in mind. I'm not going to say it because the waivers, it's playoffs. I'm not going to say it now. But Carolina, week 16 should be a good ass game for Antonio Gibson to finish the game off strong. They do want to win that division as well. They could. You obviously seen it that they just beat the Steelers, the undefeated team. They are a force to be reckoned. And you could tell they were a different team without Gibson. Like, he is the focal point in that offense now. Like, and I love that. I'm glad I drafted him. I had so much faith in him, and he's been doing great. He's been putting great numbers. But I also have backup in James White. Yeah, James White has been, he's been not great this season because of I think he had the whole family issue with his parents, which was fucked up. But he is the passing down back. And I think, going forward, the thing about the Patriots, they don't have their identity. And they're running through Harris right now. They had Sony Michel come back. I believe he's still doing all right. We could throw this game out loud because they were not passing the ball late. They were just kind of cruising. They were cruising that whole game. But Miami and Buffalo, week 15 and 16, this should be good games. And like I said, if I have to pivot for Buffalo Monday night matchup, that's a primetime matchup. This is the game championship week winning game. James White is very interesting these last 2 weeks. These next 2 weeks, he's very interesting. He's obviously their pass down back, and I think he should be all right those 2 weeks. So those pivots, I should be good. Obviously, Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. I got Jason Sanders, who has not missed a field goal all season. I picked up Tyler Bass just in case, because I like these matchups. I like Denver's matchup week 15, just in case, And then I got defenses, Buffalo and Cleveland. Cleveland has been showing out. They have been showing out like defenses. Yeah, last 2 weeks ago against Jacksonville, whatever it is, what it is. But they've been showing out. The last 2 weeks, they have week 15 and 16, they have the New York Giants and the New York Jets. I'm probably going to play them against the New York Jets. And they're tanking. Obviously, you saw what it is. But there's a lot of there's tough matchups for me, but there's also great receiving matchups for me. If I can figure out my quarterback positions and then maybe pivot up to a running back here or there, get a good flex play in week 15 and 16, I feel very comfortable. It just all depends on the matchups going forward. Now it's in the fantasy gods' hands, man. I think that I should be all right, speaking for myself. But if I had to say the favorite right now, I would have to say it's 3rd and 10, sneaking in. A team has no name. Myself, Comeback Chris, Zeked Out, and El Come Tortas. In that order, I think that's the order it could ultimately end up as. So, yeah, man, I'll give you guys a video next week. Obviously, I'm gonna be on bye week next week, so it's gonna be relaxation. I'm chilling right now, but I'll catch you guys next time. All right. Shout out to the commish, Master E. Shout out to Sour DJ for making a good ending to his season. He has a squad next season, which we should look out with much interest, because that if he drafts right, he could flip the script on every motherfucker up in this shit. But all right, dog. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.